More and more, I'm interested in team capabilities. Hello everyone, Dylan Schumacher, Citadel Defense. And today we're going to talk about the, I'm going to call it the Squad Marksman Rifle, or maybe the Minuteman Marksman Rifle, or something like that. I'm going to stop short of calling it a sniper rifle, because obviously it is not. Now first of all, a little bit of philosophy of use. The philosophy of use for this particular setup, or how I'm envisioning how this would work, is that someone on your team would have a precision rifle, and I'm using that term very loosely here, to be able to take shots at distance and be able to have that get up and go. But is not necessarily a full-on sniper, so I'm not looking at something like a bolt gun. I don't care about that much precision. They need to be able to continue to keep with the team or the squad, right? Because they're one of 4, maybe 6, maybe 8. If you're really lucky, maybe like 12 or 16 guys, right? So they got to keep up with your standard rifleman. Again, we're using loose terms here, okay? So don't pin me to that. And they got to be able to still step inside a house and clear a room if you need to, and they still got to be able to make it rat-tat-tat when they need to, right? Like they still need to be able to run it like a rifle, but they need to have that extra ability to make shots at distance, so that, let's say, hypothetically, blah, 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 there's a million reasons why you wouldn't do this, but just work with me for examples here, okay? If you're going to enter a building and you needed someone on Overwatch, well, this is the guy that you would send up to do that. Or if you're just going to go around a flanking position and you needed some guy to stand off at 300 yards and keep people's heads down, this is the guy that would do that. Or if you need to take a very specific shot for whatever specific purpose, this is the guy that would do that, right? Like this is your marksman. And so this person, we're saying, hey, has an above average, compared to our team, ability to make shots. And we want to equip them with a tool to be able to do that at distance more easily, right? So that's how I envision the Minuteman Marksman Rifle, the Squad Marksman Rifle, right? Someone that's going to be able to have that ability to provide Overwatch when they need it, that I can leave them in an LP, OP, and they're going to be able to observe and maybe harass someone coming in at a couple hundred yards away before they break contact and leave, right? But can still, be my next to last guy in the stack and enter a room, and can still run the gun. It can still have ammo that is compatible, right? Can still take the same magazines, can still accept other people's ammo. Like, can still, weapons, still carries the same weapon as the rest of the team, so that it's still all compatible, right? So that's my vision for how I built this gun and how I would envision it working. Basically, it's a souped up AR that's designed around distance, right? So this is what I did. This is my very first iteration. There's going to be more videos on this, as I already have a couple things I want to change, and there'll be more videos just as we start to explore this concept more, right? Now you've already seen a video that I put out, or maybe you didn't, but where I went out and zeroed this, and that was mostly just for some of you, very painfully watching me go through a zero process and do some ammo testing on it, right? So let's talk about the gun itself. So up top, this is a LVPO from Primary Arms. It's one of their branded LVPOs. Man, I can't say that. And it's also one of their mounts. I will put links to both those in the description because I think it's the GLX optic, but I honestly don't remember it. I don't have it in front of me, so bad planning on my part. But I will leave it in the description if you're really curious about the exact numbers and the exact mount. The cool thing about this mount is it is designed that you can drop a dot on top. Haven't done that yet. Might not do that, not sure yet. But that's cool, so you can make it like night vision compatible and stuff, and it gives it a really, really high mount, right? 18-inch upper from Focus Trip Shooting. Been happy with it so far. It's his SPR upper, so it's designed for, making those little precision marksman shots and being nice. So that's cool. This is a lower that I had for a long time. It has I believe it's Rise Armament trigger in here. It's actually a pretty nice trigger that I've been very happy with so far. In fact, I was dry firing this gun a bunch, and then I went to a class recently and for the first time in a couple weeks shot a different lower of mine, and I'm like, oh God, this trigger's awful. And it was a trigger that I didn't previously think was so bad, right? But it just felt heavy and sluggish and just, so yeah, this is a pretty good trigger. You want a little bit of a nicer trigger to make your job easier, right? Magpul bipod. This is a Dead Air K-can. I love the Dead Air cans, specifically the Sandman series, right? This is the Sandman K. The Sandman S is kind of my go-to, but that would be too big. It's an 18-inch barrel, rifle-length gas. Currently, carbine buffer and things back here. I'm about 90% sure I'm going to swap this out for a rifle-length buffer tube and rifle-length system back here. It's heavier, it's designed with the rifle-length gas, so it'll slow the whole thing down, right? And it'll get the full benefits out of that rifle-length system. So I think I'm going to do that. Plus, you know, there's already a the can on here is increasing back pressure anyway, right? So I want it to be as soft as possible. That being said, right here, this is just a PSA bolt. I just have one laying around. That's going to go. I'm going to put a bootleg bolt in there. I really like their adjustable bolt carriers. I got one for my birthday a couple years ago. Thought it was a total gimmick. And I got to say, that thing is wonderful. It slaps. It's going to go on all my serious guns. So that's going to go in here as well, too, so I can fine-tune the gas adjustment, right, and bleed off some of the gas at the BCG so that I can, you know, the gun will shoot softer, right? So that's my overall plan here. Again, so far, been happy with it. Like how things go. This is just a Magpul foregrip. This is a Magpul sling that I had lying around. No complaints there. So that's the gun. And that's basically how I have it set up. And again, I've been real happy with it. It is a little bit of a heavy boy. Now, currently, I don't have a light on here. That's going to have to change. I'm going to need to at least put a white light on here, right? And I don't have any, you know, lasers or anything like that. I only own one laser currently, unfortunately. But I think I would like to put a laser up here. I would like to put a dot on it so that I could hypothetically run it at night. Now, the capability of the gun is not going to be unleashed, right, unless it's daytime, because that's where the optic comes in, right? Being able to zoom up to 6 really is going to be able to affect that, right? I will say I zeroed this at 100, and I could hit full-size steel at 300, no problem. It got boring, so I'm just like, well, that's not fun. And out at 300 at my range, they had like I think it was a 12-inch plate, and I think it was a 10-inch plate. And I got the 12-inch plate pretty handedly, and the 10-inch plate I had to work a little bit, but I could hit it. So again, the concept here is that it's a precision rifle that can do the rat-tat-tat when you need it, but is primarily there for your marksmen on your team to be able to do their job, right? Without being so hyper-specialized that they need a full ghillie suit and they need a full whatever and they need their own ammo and they have to carry 2 guns and all this nonsense, right? We're Minutemen. We don't have time or logistics trains or capability or interests in doing all that nonsense. What's a rifle that we can have on the team that has more get up and go, but is still compatible and can still be, you know, integrated into the team, right? So that's my vision for this. If you have some thoughts, questions, you know, things that you've done better for this, I'd be more than curious to hear it. I do want it to be able to punch out to, like, you know, 6 or 7. I want to stretch the end of whatever 5.56 is. On that note, I do think one of the things I might be getting into is reloading to try to match, I don't want to say match cartridges, but to like make a good hand load that would go for this gun, right? So to make a couple hundred rounds of premium that would feed well in this gun that I could get the most capability out of it. And I really want the gun to be able to do, it should be able to do, you know, 1 MOA or smaller. And I think that's doable, and then the rest is just up to me. I'd like the gun to outshoot me so that I'm like, okay, I know the gun can do it. The question is, can I do it, right? So those are the changes we're going to do. Those will be the subsequent videos as we continue to develop this concept. I'm going to take this out in a couple weeks here and shoot it. And so there'll be a follow-up video to see how it did and how it, so far, my preliminary testing goes with the plan of being part of the team but having the precision gun. So again, you know, just as we continue things like this, I'm more and more interested in team capabilities, right? We have another series on the BAR, the team BAR. I want to do this series on the team Marksman rifle. Like, I want the team itself to have increased capabilities. And so that's why I'm getting into more of these specialized guns, is I guess really what I would call it, because I think it's really interesting the depth of capability that it can give your team when you start to diversify just a little bit on your different setups. And that's one of the things that makes the ARs so fantastic, is they're able to do that and have those different diversities and applications and setups. And it's one of the reasons it is the absolute unchallenged king of the intermediate cartridge rifles. So I hope that's helpful. Hope that gives you some ideas. Looking forward to doing this more with you. Do brave deeds and endure.